Can I finish my monthly TBR? Let's see. Can't stop it. Stop it right now. That's the word I was looking for. I am obsessed. Gone in with low expectations. Hello lovely people, welcome back to my channel, or hey if you're new here, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Today's video is going to be seeing if I can finish my February TBR. I have been striving to finish my TBRs lately, and this month is no different. I really want to finish my TBR. I'm so close. I'm 2 books away from finishing it, and this video is going to be me reading those books because I thought that they was quite anticipated reads to me as well, so maybe you guys would enjoy seeing my thoughts and feelings on them. My February TBR this year was Addicted for Now, Holding Photo Finish, Holding the Reins, A Lady's Guide to Scandal, Foxglove and Reckless. That was my TBR. I have read 3 of those books from my TBR. I have made the decision to donate A Lady's Guide to Scandal by Sophie Irwin because not one bone in my body was drawn towards that book. I didn't like the first one. I was not fancying reading the second one, and I thought there's no point me reading it when I don't want to read it because I'm probably not going to enjoy it and it's just going to be an unfair review. So I'm going to rehome that one to someone who will maybe have a better time reading it. However, the 2 books that leaves me with are Foxglove and Reckless. I feel like these 2 books are very anticipated for me, especially Reckless. I never thought I would get to that book, to be honest. It's taken me so long to finally get to it, and I'm so excited to finally be back in that world. I feel like this week I've just woken up and I've been in a very YA book mindset. I don't know if it's because I've been reading quite a lot of spicy books, but I've just been feeling like just YA, like super easy to read, super simplistic names, very easy to absorb yourself in and binge, and that's just the mood I have been in. I'm really on the hunt for some more YA fantasy series at the moment, but more on the upper end of YA rather than the lower end, which I feel like the Powerless trilogy is, and I also feel like the Belladonna trilogy is. That's kind of more my vibe within the YA genre. So this week I'm going to be reading Foxglove, which is the second book after Belladonna. Belladonna I rated I think a 3.5 or 3.75 stars. I did enjoy it and I really liked the ending, which made me instantly purchase the second book, this one, and I know that the third one is out now as well. I liked the first book. I was kind of a bit bored throughout at some points, but then the ending did get me, and I did enjoy the whole vibe. I enjoyed the gothic vibe, I enjoyed the characters, I enjoyed the overall theme of it, to be honest, but I just think the way it was written sometimes lost me and I was a bit like zoning out. But overall I did enjoy the book, and it definitely made me want to read the sequel. So this is Foxglove. It's very gothic vibes. Imagine like running through a mansion with your dress flowing behind you, that kind of vibe. I think this one follows a different character than the first one, and I think that it's a different being. Whereas Death was like a being, I think we've now got a different sort of being in this one. I won't give too much away just in case you haven't read Belladonna, but the whole vibe of it was very gothic, very mystery filled, very mysterious, very atmospheric. That's the word I was looking for. It was very atmospheric and I did have a good time with it, and I definitely am in the mood for a book like this at the moment. This is one of the books that I'm going to be finishing this week, or this weekend actually. And the other book in this video is Reckless by Lauren Roberts. Lauren Roberts for me is an author who I very much like her writing style. I did enjoy Powerless. I think I rated it a 4 stars. However, I did see a lot of similarities between that book and The Hunger Games. I'm not sure if Reckless is going to be different because obviously we're kind of broadening out into that world a bit more. But the first book, Powerless, I did think was quite similar to The Hunger Games. However, I'm a big fan of The Hunger Games and I do enjoy it, so I did enjoy the book. I thought it was fun. I loved Payton and Kai. They had my heart. Them as a couple were goals. I really enjoyed their story, and I think that Lauren Roberts did a great job as her debut novel. I was entertained, I had a good time, and I'm really ready to be back in that world. So I'm going to read Reckless in this video. I have been wanting to read Reckless for quite a while, but I just never seem to pick it up. So this is the perfect excuse to finally do that. And yeah, we're going to have some fun reading. We're going to finish my TBR this weekend. And also, this video is going to be a great excuse to check 2 books that have been sat on my TBR cart for the longest time off my list. So I'm very happy about that. As always, let me know in the comments if you have read these 2 books and what you think of it, or if you have read any of the other books I mentioned that were on February's TBR. I would love to know your thoughts and feelings. And without further ado, let's get into the video and read some books. I have made the decision to start off this vlog with Reckless by Lauren Roberts. I'm just really in the mood to be back in this universe. Back in, is it Ilya? Or Ilya? It's like I-L-Y-A, right? Is that like what the world's called? Let me fact check that real quick. I'm actually not sure where their kingdom is. Is it? I swear it's like Ilya? I don't know how you pronounce it. Anyway, I'm really excited to be back in this world. I can't wait. I've kind of been putting this book off for some time, purely for the fact that when it came out, there was an abundance of mixed reviews. There was seriously so many mixed reviews, and I feel like the majority were people saying that they didn't enjoy it, and they feel like it suffered from second book syndrome, which, if you didn't know what second book syndrome is, in my opinion, it's like where you could have had a duology rather than a trilogy, and this kind of just acts as complete filler, waiting for the 3rd book. So I really hope that I'm not going to think that, because that's what's been putting me off from starting it, because no one really wants to pick up a book knowing it's just going to be a load of filler, let's be honest. But I'm going to finally get around to it, because I did pick it in my TBR jar video. And I am feeling a bit more excited now. I don't know what it is, but I think when I read a few books back to back to back with quite heavy spice, or that are more spice heavy and more adult books, I always just kind of crave like a week or a few books just as like a bit of a palette cleanser and a bit of just like a fun silly time where we've just got it's just YA, you know, like it's a bit easier to understand, it's a bit easier to be in the world, and I think that that's what I was craving right now. I was craving yearning, and I think that in a lot of YA books we get yearning because we're obviously not getting any spice, and it's very slow burn, and you get all the tension between the characters, and I'm seriously so excited because the tension between Kai and Payden in book 1 was insane. If you didn't know what Powerless was about, it's basically this kingdom where we have elites and ordinaries. Elites are the favoured type of people. They are seen as better, they have powers, and they essentially want to wipe out any ordinaries because they see ordinaries as a threat to them, because they see ordinaries as like they could weaken their elite powers essentially. So they're trying to get rid of any ordinaries, and Payden is an ordinary, so she is surviving in this world pretending to be an elite, and we're seeing her navigate her tough lifestyle, and then she gets asked to attend the annual trials that happen, and these trials basically are, I'm honestly still to this day not sure what the trials actually achieve, because if we are wanting to keep the elites in the world, why would we do a trial with the elites in it where the elites are going to die? Would we not do it with ordinaries? I don't know. If you know, please explain that to me in the comments, because I still don't understand that part. But she gets asked to attend the trials, and then book 1 essentially follows her with these crazy things going on, crazy trials. It's very much Hunger Games meets the Carissa Broadbent book. What is that one? Serpent and the Wings of Night meets, I have heard, Red Queen. I've never read Red Queen, but I have heard that it's very similar. So do with that information what you will. But I did enjoy book 1. I felt like it did draw inspiration from other stories I had previously read, so it wasn't like anything groundbreaking to me, but I do really anticipate book 2, because surely now we've left book 1, Lauren Roberts is going to have to develop the world a bit more. We're going to see a bit more to it, a few more places, maybe some more characters. And I personally loved Kai and Payton's romance so much, so I'm ready to be back with them because their tension is off the charts. I mean, book 1 had me giggling and kicking my feet, let's just say that. So I'm going to go away, I'm going to start this, I'm going to make a coffee, and then I will pop back on here when I have a few more thoughts. I'm not really doing anything today, so I potentially could finish it. We will see how absorbed I get into the world. I've been sat here for a little while and there's some of the quotes, I swear Lauren Roberts drops in the best like tension and banter scenes with Payton and Kai. I eat them up. I swear their banter is just off the charts, and I have decided, because I did put a few tabs in Powerless, I am going to be tabbing Reckless so that they all match. So I've done little red tab and I'm going to underline all the quotes I enjoy in red. I don't really have a key to tabbing, I just pick the colour that matches the book and then highlight the quotes that I enjoy. This one is like the tamest of all the ones I've highlighted at the moment. It just says, "Careful Grey," he murmurs. "I was beginning to think you cared about me." It's so simple yet so effective, and I'm just sat here like, Kai, stop it right now. I just love the way that Lauren Roberts writes these two characters together. That's all. I'm gonna read again. It is so nice and sunny today. I feel like this is the first day where I have thought, ooh, this is kind of giving summer vibes, and I'm really loving it. I feel like a bit of sun just does wonders for my mood. So, however, I thought I would check in. I am now halfway through Reckless, and guys, just a moment of silence, please. I am loving this book. I am obsessed. I feel like I have not been bored at all. I was very scared going into this that I was going to feel bored like throughout the whole book, and I've not been bored yet. I can't put this down. When I put this book down to like eat or do some a job, a chore, I'm thinking about picking up the book. I'm like, oh, I can't wait so I can next sit down so I can pick up the book, and that feeling is just incredible. I love when you get that feeling where you're that absorbed in a book that it's all you can think about, and that is me with Reckless. I don't know what it is. I think it might just be right book, right time. I'm just very much in a YA fantasy mood at the moment, and it's just everything I need right now, and it's just, I'm eating it up. I think that where some people's sort of critique was that they feel it was very repetitive and that the characters kind of have the conflict, make up, have conflict, make up. I don't even think it's like that, or to me it's not translating like that. I'm seeing every single scene as being so important to them and to the plot, and I'm just loving it. This is very much, I read, what did I read? It was by Holly Renee, the second book in her like latest series. This is like that, but 100 times better. This is what that was trying to be, where the two characters obviously have had this dilemma in the first book, and then now they're almost like cat and mouse. One's running away, one's chasing after her. That's the vibe that this is giving, but it's done so well. I think the way that Lauren Roberts writes is so poetic. It's honestly, I never tab books. Like, I never seem to annotate or tab books. I don't know why, because I actually do enjoy it. But with Lauren Roberts, both of her books now, I felt the need to pick up my sticky tabs and my highlighters and underline the quotes that I just love so much, because there's so many quotes that she includes that are just beautiful, and they just perfectly sum up the scene and their romance. I think that Kai, the way that Kai is written, he's maybe potentially top 3 book boyfriends. Let that sink in. He is up there. Every quote that he says is just perfect. The yearning, that's what I was talking about. In a YA book, I feel like we get so much yearning, and that's what I feel with Kai. He is just, I just love him. He's such an incredible character, and I also think that Payton is such a strong, easy to read about FMC. I think sometimes, you know, we get an FMC that is potentially a bit grating. Also, we get an MMC that is very grating, but sometimes I don't like to hate on our FMCs, but sometimes they can be a bit annoying. Payton is not like that to me. Payton is perfect, and I love reading about her. I think that she's such a strong, confident woman, and I'm just obsessed. I think that if you are wanting to get into fantasy, this would be potentially the perfect trilogy to start with, because I wouldn't say it's too fantasy heavy, honestly. Like, to me, there's barely any fantasy. Specifically in this book, we've got like sprinkles of it, but essentially like none. Other than it being set in a world that happens to have powers and things like that, it's not even reading like a fantasy. We've not got any heavy world building, we've not got any talk of crazy powers and things like that. And I think for me right now, and the amount of brain power I want to use, it's perfect. I've also been listening to a playlist while I read, and I think listening to music for me sets the scene, and I really do get way more absorbed in a book if I've got some songs on. I think that if I was to choose a song that perfectly sums up these guys, Payton and Kai, it would be Vicious by Sabrina Carpenter. If you listen to that song and then read this book, it just translates so well, and I'm just like, yes, I love this. And basically, all that to say, I'm having the best time. I am really enjoying myself. I'm gonna have a little break and then get straight back into reading it. I'm so excited to finish it. But now I realise I have to wait. I've just realised I have to wait until Fearless comes out. I can't even go and read Fearless. That is quite sad. I do hope that we get maybe a novella, like we did for Powerful. Potentially. Did Lauren Roberts say that we might get another novella? Hopefully we do, because I need something to tide me over until Fearless comes out. It's the next day now. I ended up finishing Reckless last night, and then I also started Foxglove. I keep wanting to say Belladonna. It's Foxglove by Adeline Grace. I am actually quite far into Foxglove at this point. It's not as if I've like just started it. I am literally 220 pages into this book, so I'm like halfway in, and I'm actually really enjoying it, but we'll save my thoughts for that for a moment. I did finish Reckless, and I'm gonna rate it a 5 stars. I never expected those words to come out my mouth. Never did I ever think I was gonna rate this book 5 stars, but it was 5 stars through and through. I am obsessed. I could not put this book down. I ate it up. I have literally tabbed it, and I never tab books, like never. I did tab a few quotes in Powerless, which is kind of the reason why I thought I would carry that tradition on throughout the whole trilogy. So I have done some like little red sticky tabs, and I have highlighted my favourite quotes, but let me just read this one. Her breathing is melodic, hypnotising in a way I hate admitting. Let's find another one, because the quotes in this book were insane. I loved them. This is a good one. She tastes like a piece of the heaven I won't be going to. Kissing her is a relief, it's a delicate sort of demand. Lauren Roberts, literally, how do you make sentences that beautiful and that poetic? I felt like the whole book was so nicely written. The writing style that Lauren Roberts has is just beautiful. It's so poetic, it's so easy to read, but at the same time so layered, and it's not just surface level. I feel like she really includes some super hard-hitting, memorable quotes, and every single page I felt was important to the plot. I didn't think that there was any parts which were just filler or which were boring and that needed to be sped up. Honestly, I would read this again. Like, I would read double this amount if it meant we could have more Payden and Kai, because their romance and how it's been written is just my favourite. It's so well done. I know that this is a very unpopular opinion, and I am in the minority of people who like this book. I feel like this book came out and it didn't receive the best reviews. I think the majority of people who've read it ended up not liking it or just kind of rating it average because they think that it's fallen victim to second book syndrome. However, I loved it. I don't know what's come over me. I genuinely did not think I was going to enjoy it this much because I didn't have that urge to pick it up for so long. And then I've only picked it up because it was on this month's TBR, because I picked it out of my TBR jar. And I'm so glad that I did, because it's made me finally get to it, and it's literally a 5-star. So this is your sign. If you're putting off a book, read it now, because you never know, it could be a 5-star. And yeah, I just felt like the whole story was very well done. I personally didn't feel like it felt like second book syndrome. I think everything was quite useful to the plot. I did predict the ending from the start, I will say, but I don't really mind. I didn't know that it was actually going to happen. I had an inkling that that was going to be the ending, and it still made me gasp when I read that the line, "If you know, you know," I was like and I literally had to just sit there, take the book, put it down and be like, what? The ending was so good. I can't wait for the next book. The only downside is that the next book is not out for another couple of months, so I can't even just go and binge it, which is quite disappointing because I would really love to get further on with the story now. I'm well and truly in with this couple, with this romance, with this world, with this plot. I'm obsessed. I think that I'm struggling to find a critique for this book. I don't really know where that would come from. I do understand when people say, okay, it fell victim to second book syndrome, because I can see why they might think that with there not being too much going on. I can see that, and I think with it being a YA book, there's not a lot of world building, I guess. There's not crazy amounts of description, but I actually like that. I think I honestly prefer that, and I do prefer getting more character scenes. I think I'm more of a character-driven person, as in I enjoy more character-driven plots, and this one, or this book in particular, definitely was more character-driven, and we got a lot of conversation between our main characters, but I personally love that, so I wasn't complaining at all. I think it depends if you're more of someone who prefers like heavy plot and lots going on to someone who prefers more just we're focused on the characters. I think, you know, I'm more on this end, so that's why I enjoyed it, but I can see why some people didn't, because there's not a terrible lot going on, but I preferred that, and I really had a great time with it. I think I'm rating this purely off of the vibes. I didn't want to put it down. I had a great time. I'm so glad that I've picked it up, and if you have been putting it off, then this is your sign to go and read Reckless before Fearless comes out. And I also do think that this was maybe a case of right book, right time, because I was really craving a YA book, and this just did it for me. I was craving like a YA book that has the tension, has the yearning, has the romance, and this had everything that I was craving and more, and I just had a great time. I don't know what to tell you. I do get why people don't like it, but I personally loved it, and there's not really much else I can say because it is a second book, but I still felt like there was a lot of plot like going on. I still felt like there was enough for me to not be bored. Like they was getting into enough like sticky situations that kept me entertained and on the edge of my seat the whole way through. And I also liked that we got a third POV. If you know, you know. I don't want to spoil it, but we did get a third POV, which I thought was quite useful, and I would almost like to see a novella from that person's POV. That could be fun. But yeah, 5 stars. I really enjoyed this. And that leaves me on to the next book, the final book on my February TBR, which is Foxglove by Adeline Grace. So far, I am enjoying this. It's definitely a change of pace from Reckless, because how these books are written are very atmospheric. They're very scenic and descriptive, and we don't really get too much sort of action in these ones. I feel it's more of like mystery, but I do still enjoy them. They're definitely not my favourite books ever, but I have a good time with them when I'm in the mood to pick them up. If I didn't describe what this series is about in the intro properly, it's basically about our female main character, Signa, and she has dealt her whole life with the people that she lives with. They kind of meet an untimely death, and she's like, what's wrong with me? I'm not sure. And she gets relocated many times, and then she's finally made it to, is it Foxglove Manor? Or, no, it's not. It's a different manor. She makes it to this manor, and her uncle lives there and her cousins, and she's living there, and strange things start happening. She ends up speaking to death, and she kind of has these own supernatural powers within herself. She's not really a full-on human. She's got like things going on that she can do, some abilities that she can do that no one else can, and she can see things that not everyone can. So we've got that going on, and then we've got some deaths that are happening within the manor, within the town, and she's trying to figure out what's going on, why it's happening, all while this subplot of romance is going on with death, strangely enough. And yeah, she's kind of also trying to make a friendship with her cousins, and we're seeing her trying to become a lady and enter the, what is it, see, it's called like the marriage scene in this day and age. It's kind of set in like Bridgerton times, like Regency vibes. I imagine this colour scheme to be very dark, very moody, lots of purple going on, lots of dark dresses, lots of candlelight, lots of vines growing up the walls and things like that. I do really think that Adeline Grace does a great job of describing things very well, so you can picture it very clearly in your head. I think this one, right off the bat, I'm enjoying more than Belladonna. Do with that information as you will. I think it's more entertaining than Belladonna. I don't know why. Maybe it's because it's the second book, so we've amped up the drama a little bit. But I am enjoying this one more. We have a new character in it. We have another mystery going on. I'm not sure if they're all going to follow this format where we have a mystery that is the main character Signa's job to uncover. But that's what this one is following, similarly to Belladonna. I think that the reason I'm enjoying this one at the moment is because I've been reading alongside a playlist, and there's lots of Taylor Swift on the playlist, and it's really setting the scene for me. But that is my little update. I'm gonna try and read a good chunk of Foxglove tonight and hopefully finish it tomorrow, and then I'll get back to you with my final thoughts and feelings. But I'm feeling pretty accomplished for getting these books off my TBR and also finishing a February TBR. Like, pat on the back to me. With 100 pages left to go with Foxglove, so I'm so close to finishing my TBR. We're on page 352 of this book. I'm gonna call it a night because I'm pretty tired and I kind of want to watch a film. So this is me saying night, and I will finish this off tomorrow morning and give you my full in-depth review. Just finished Foxglove by Adeline Grace, and I'm gonna rate it a 4 stars. I actually did not expect to rate this one a 4 stars because I read Belladonna in the summer and rated it like a 3.5, 3.75 stars, and I felt like this one was also going to follow that trajectory and be in the 3-star realm. However, I had a really fun time reading this and I didn't want to put it down. Like, I actually was really immersed in the story and I had a great time. I did not expect this to be a 4-star at all, and that's given me hope for the last book, Wisteria. I think it's a closed trilogy. I'm not sure if there's going to be any other books. I think it's a trilogy. Could be wrong, but the last one is called Wisteria, and that's given me hope for that one because now I feel like I potentially could rate that one above a 4-star or above, maybe. But yeah, I had a great time reading this. I feel like these books are really great if you're in the mood to pick up a book that is super atmospheric and has a lot of descriptive words and a lot of flowery sentences. It's definitely not a book that get straight to the point. We definitely describe absolutely everything. So if you're in the mood to really imagine what we're seeing, what we're reading about, then these books are perfect. I've just got Belladonna out to show you the covers as well. The covers are absolutely gorgeous. So I think that's a reason in itself to get these books. I think as well with a playlist on, you can really get immersed. And I ended up really enjoying this storyline. I think that it was quite entertaining and I liked following the mystery throughout the book. There were times where I felt like it got a little bit too descriptive and too slow for me, and I kind of felt like, let's wrap this up, let's move on to the next plot point. But above all, I did feel very entertained the whole way through, and I think because we've got that mystery element the whole way through these books, we also had it in Belladonna, it keeps you on your toes and it keeps you guessing. It's definitely not a mystery that is super high stakes and super what's gonna happen next. It's more like, this is a mystery, we're gonna slowly throughout the entire book figure out the ending to it, and the overall thing in this one didn't really make me too shocked. It wasn't like, oh no, like this is the result of the mystery. It was kind of just like, okay, like we've got to the end, that's fair. But I think it was a right book, right time. I was in the mood to read something a bit like this, a bit gothic, a bit poetic feeling, a bit flowery. I do definitely think as well this series is on the higher end of the YA genre, because there are some parts that are definitely not the younger end of YA, and I do prefer that personally. And I think that what Adeline Grace does well is she sets up the next book really well with her writing. She kind of always leaves the ending on a bit of a cliffhanger, on a bit of a, ooh, I really want to go and read the next book right now. Like she never rounds it off fully, and that's how I felt with this one as well as Belladonna. I definitely now have the urge to go and read Wisteria, which I'm glad that she does, because if not, I feel like I wouldn't really reach for the next book in the series. But I'm gonna wait until Wisteria comes out in paperback, because I'm not sure it's out in paperback yet, because I want them all to match. So I'm gonna wait, and then I'll probably pick that one up maybe around like the gloomier months. In my opinion as well, we don't really get like that feeling where you instantly need to read them all at once. They're definitely ones you can pick up as and when you're in the mood, and as and when the weather is matching the vibe of them. They give off very dark, gloomy vibes. I think they'd be perfect honestly to read in winter and to read on like a rainy day. So yeah, I'm very happy that I read it. I'm happy that I finally got to Foxglove. And I'm also very happy that I finally read Reckless, because if it wasn't for this vlog, I honestly don't think I would have picked either of these two books up voluntarily for a while, for a long while. So if I didn't pick these in my TBR jar video, I think they would have sat on my TBR for quite a while. So I'm definitely very glad to have not only read two books from my TBR, but also have gotten one book further in two separate series. So now we're only one book away from both of these series to finishing two more series on my list. We'll have closed off two trilogies, which is always very satisfying as well. So I'm very excited. I obviously can't read Fearless yet because it's not out, but best believe as soon as it comes out I will be reading it. And also Foxglove, I can't read Wisteria yet because it's not out in paperback, and I really want the paperback version. So I'm very glad that I read these. We had honestly a very successful reading weekend. I managed to get a 5-star. This is the first 5-star I've had in February, and also we have managed to get a 4-star, which is always very fun. As always, let me know if you've read these two books in the comments and if you liked them or maybe didn't like them, because I definitely went into these with low expectations, and maybe that's why I've had such a success rate, because I've gone in with low expectations and they've defied those. But yeah, I did have a great time. Let me know if you liked them. Thank you so much for watching today's vlog. Don't forget to like, comment and subscribe. I hope to see you in the next one. Bye guys.